Yo, news just in. Amy Schumer has just eaten an entire chocolate cake in one bite. Why is there fireworks going on outside my house?
Okay, so getting your first kiss is never actually the way it's supposed to go. If anyone's ever told you that their first kiss was actually good, they are 90% of the time lying. I remember my first kiss and it was not what I wanted it to be. If anything, I ended up actually puking right after. I know that sounds crazy, but let me explain. I remember back when I was in elementary school, this was actually my grade 3 year. Now in grade 3, I was a pretty basic dude. I wasn't popular in any way, nor was I cool. But one thing was for sure, I was a helpless romantic.
You know, funny story about my first kid. So, helpless romantic. Okay, my Xbox starting up does not make this better.
Now, I don't know why I was, to be honest, and growing up, I never understood how I became this way. I think it was from all the Nickelodeon shows with teenagers falling in love together. But honestly, one thing was for sure, and that was I did not enjoy being single. Even to this day, I don't like being single. Like, you know how lonely it is to sleep on this bed by myself? Anyways, going on though, I remember there was one time my grade 3 year where it was Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day was like a really big deal in our school because you always had to make sure that your parents would bring like the best chocolate and candy to school with you.
All right, bro. If this guy can pull hose, I could definitely. Because I mean, come on. And like, not even to sound like that guy, but Valentine's Day is probably one of the most boring like holidays ever. Honestly, like, I sometimes will low-key forget that Valentine's Day is going on. Or like, I'm like, oh, it's tomorrow. Not to go all like I'm 13 and this is deep on you, but like. Nah, not even joking.
So I remember the day before Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, sorry to interrupt again, but I can't keep making like self-deprecating jokes. Like I gotta like take a jab at him, you know, at least. So his name's kind of stupid, right? What was his name again?
I went to my mom and dad begging them, and I mean begging them right after school to take me to the mall and get the best candy possible. Now, popular chocolate back then for us was like Hershey's and like Arrows and even the little Kisses packets. But my parents had a better idea and ended up going with some foreign chocolate that no one's ever even heard of. I remember when they brought this up to me, I ended up begging them and praying to them, no, mom, that cannot be the chocolate. Mom, come on, mom. Can we at least go with the Hershey's? Hershey's is so expensive. $25? Are you kidding me? Okay, well, what about the Kisses, mom? Baba, that's too much chocolate. You're going to get diabetes.
No, you should have begged for the Dubai chocolate. Oh my god, I don't get like where these stuff came from. Like by the time this video comes out, that stuff's already gonna be a dead and gone trend. Like the Dubai chocolate and the Labubu, whatever they are. Like honestly, like but he should have begged for him like regardless, because it wouldn't even be a dead trend. I don't even know. Like, did they even exist like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Whenever this video comes out. And like, what is this accent that he's giving his mother? Like,
mom, come on, mom. I just want to give a good chocolate that everyone knows. I remember I kept begging my mom this over and over, and finally she caved for the Kisses, since there were so many to distribute throughout the class. And also, I promised my mom that I wouldn't have any, which really sucks, but at the same time, my mom was only just looking out for me. Going on from there, I remember it got super awkward because the next day at school, I was packaging all like the chocolate that I wanted to give out to students. But then I realized that one of my buddies came up to me saying, yo, Bubba, I heard you got a crush. Wait, what do you mean? Well, like, there's a girl that has a crush on you inside. Wait, who?
Wait, has a crush on him inside? What? Okay, editors know. I mean, not really, because I'm literally editing the video as I'm doing the voice. So, yeah, like, what does he mean by inside? I'm sorry, like, inner soul? Like what is it?
Oh, you don't remember Alyssa? Now, back when I was in school, there was a girl that was, well, called Alyssa. Her name wasn't actually Alyssa, but we're just gonna call it that for the story. And apparently Alyssa had a crush on me all throughout my kindergarten to grade 3 year, which makes no sense because I don't really know if we really understand what love is back then. But I think the only love we understood was from our parents. And other than giving her like a pencil to borrow, I never really actually rizzed up this girl whatsoever. Hell, I don't even think I knew how to rizz because I was in grade 3. Like, what is Riz anyway?
Dude, yeah, I like totally relate to that. Like, I like in grade 3, I was like, what is Riz? The word Riz did not even exist
So I remember when I heard this, I basically kind of felt grossed out because that wasn't my crush. Now, I thought this was really bad news because I had my own crush that I wanted to impress this Valentine's Day, and that was Faith. Her name wasn't actually Faith, once again, just doing it for the story time. Now, Faith was actually a really hot girl. She was blonde, she was attractive, and she was in my grade. And I remember I had the most biggest crush on her to the point where I couldn't even speak to her. Yeah, I didn't say a word to her because I was so nervous at like saying anything to her because she was so beautiful and so attractive. And me, when I was a kid, well, I was pretty mid.
Yo, I like relate to the story like heavily. Yo, I deadass need to go to bed. It's only like at 9:34, but like I just need to get some sleep.
Which sounds crazy because, you know, we were talking about me being a kid and this whole story is about kids. But aside from the Diddy work, I remember it was so nerve-wracking that Valentine's Day, knowing how much was going on. And it got to the point where I decided to just say, whatever, I'm gonna just write a letter to Faith to make sure she knows I have a crush on her. So I remember that lunchtime before we started handing out the chocolates, because our teachers would make us hand out the chocolates at the end of the day. So not all the students would be blamed for eating so much chocolate and they can go straight to their parents. So I remember when the lunch bell rang, I ran all the way to like the counselor's office to write this letter. If you guys are wondering why the counselor's office, it was because the counselor would always let me inside her office just to make sure, you know, I could have my personal time.
I'm sorry, but fuck you mean personal time. In the school's counseling office? So like, was he just in the counselor's office like... Hey, stop looking. Stop looking.
I don't know why, but it felt useful at the time. So I remember I went in there with a paper and pencil and I wrote down all my feelings onto a piece of paper. Yeah, that was the last time I ever did that until middle school when I got my diary. I mean, journal. It was a journal. So I remember I'm just full on writing down all my feelings, telling Faith how much I loved her, telling her how we would have a future together, telling her how we could be high school sweethearts. Yeah, I went on and on. But then this is where everything gets confusing because I remember the counselor ends up walking in and she says, "Oh, Bubba, what are you working on?" Nothing. And I'm shoving my piece of paper inside my backpack.
This honestly sounds like some Drake lore. And like I tried to dispose of the piece of paper that I wrote, you know, on. Yeah, the FBI is gonna be coming to my house in like 15 minutes, so I gotta wrap this video up real quick, which, you know, whatever.
And that's when the mix-up ended up happening. Because I remember I ended up going back to my classroom and the bell finally rang to start, you know, the giving of chocolate. Or Valentine's Day. And I wanted to make sure I was in that classroom, but I wanted to make sure that my note was finally at Faith's desk before anyone actually noticed that it was me putting it there. So I remember I sprinted so fast into that classroom and I put down the piece of paper in her desk with a Kisses chocolate. And this is where everything just goes wrong. Because I remember once we enter inside the classroom, our teacher says, "Okay, class, so everyone grab their desks. We're gonna reorganize them. And then afterwards, we're gonna hand out the chocolate."
Oh, and then it's gonna go to like some guy that he just secretly admires, and he's like, "Oh, well, may as well since I'm already here," and that's how he gets his first kiss. I mean, honestly, that'd be a great father-son father story.
Reorganized desks. At this moment, I started to panic because not only did I have a love note inside one of the desks, but also we were getting rearranged. So this note was going to go to some random person. Like it could have gone to a guy. Yeah, I was panicking and struggling. I didn't know what to do. And finally, the worst of it ended up continuing. After the desks were all reorganized, I remember I walked up to Alyssa and I gave out the chocolate like we were supposed to. And then when Alyssa gets my chocolate, she goes into her desk and she pulls out my love note. Somehow Alyssa ended up getting it in her desk. I have no idea how or why. I was sure I put it in Faith's desk, but still, it made no sense. And she ends up pulling out this letter, and all these girls get excited when they see this and surround her. And when they saw my initial at the bottom after reading it, well, yeah, this is where things get awkward. Because I remember Alyssa, instead of walking up to me like a normal kid and just, you know, being like all cutesy and stuff, she ends up running to me and kissing me. Yeah, she kissed me, and that wasn't even the worst part because she kissed me right in front of Faith, the girl I actually had a crush on.
So, like, if it was me in the situation, a girl would be, lucky enough to even be with me, to even be in my presence. So, of course, I could, like, be like, stand down, Alyssa. My true love. Dude, this is like third graders I'm talking about.
I remember the teacher started panicking because obviously, students in grade 3 should not be kissing each other, especially on Valentine's Day, because, cooties could get around and stuff. But it was super awkward, and I remember I felt so grossed out. It even got to the point where me and Alyssa got in trouble, and that was even the worst of it, because Alyssa was already known throughout our class for picking her boogers and eating it. So I basically kissed a girl that had booger breath. Booger breath. Yeah, honestly, I'm just done. I just don't think kissing girls are a good idea. If anything, don't have your first kiss till you're married. But if you guys have already had your first kiss, subscribe.
I kind of was like, yeah, guys, kissing is gross. Kissing is gross. And then you literally see a thumbnail of his video just saying, my hot Spanish teacher, like, and also the booger breath thing, like, just no, like, it made me cringe up. Like, I know this is meant for people in third grade, but then you also got my hot Spanish teacher, like, hey, tone it down, buddy, tone it. I also need to tone it down, and you need to tone down that like button because it's getting pretty crazy. It's starting to get wild. It's starting to act crazy. It's starting to act out. Because YouTube is like 20 years old almost now, and of course, you know how I was in my 20s. I'm joking. Like, subscribe. This video is all just for jokes and entertainment purposes only. I need to get to bed. It's like 10 o'clock. Oh, yeah, the FBI is also going to arrest me soon. So, yeah.